Alright, so for today's video, we're actually going to be discussing our class system and why our version of how we break it down is better than 5e. So, first off, let's actually break down what the difference between, like, our class and subclass and the additional groupings. First off, groupings include all classes broken into 4 categories. These are Mystic, Mage, Martial, and Technician. Now, Technicians, just for a real quick kind of description, is tools and skills. These will have little extra bonuses in the form of the ability die system, which I'm getting into a little later. The groupings allow us to separate the things that you would expect every class to have within it. Like, so for example, Spellcaster. I have never understood why any game makes every Spellcaster have to take or use up selection space for detect magic. I mean, you're a Spellcaster. How do you not detect it? So that's what our groupings do. So like, things like your reaction strikes are going to be separate from, like, for example, in 5e, they have opportunity attacks. So that's built in and kind of shared with some of the options on how many times you can do it to give a little more favor towards martials being more physical, martial adept characters compared to everyone else, who will still have a reaction per round. But martials just have them built in more. If you do not have technicians on your team, a lot of tool-based solutions and like expert level skill, like going beyond your normal level of skill for different of our field and social skills, they just won't be as potent. So these solutions aren't going to be as available to you as you don't have one on the team. So we wanted to really divide these into that. And what this did was allow our classes to be truly the spine of your character's abilities, and this allowed that to grow from the beginning. One of our big complaints about like 5e systems is multi-classing automatically means that any bonuses that would be accrued at the higher levels are not equivalent to the upper levels of what your multi-class selections are getting. The big problem with that is that kind of can minimize certain unique builds. We separated a lot of things that normally are given in the class or subclass in 5e systems. With the groupings and then your class, this is now refining it past your playstyle. Like, what do you want to be able to solve problems with? Do you want to do it with tools, magic, psionics, or physical abilities? Well, that's your grouping. Your class goes, okay, so you chose, let's say, physical abilities. You're going to be a martial. Do you want to, use your unarmed body? Do you want to use melee weapons? So this gave us a lot of options on diversifying class. And we have a further breakdown. Once we get to the stage of we have patent pending, we will actually go deeper into how we've made classes a lot more customizable than I've seen in any other tabletop role-playing game system. So that's where subclasses come in. Normally, in other systems, you're locked to a subclass. Like, if you're going to play a level 1 to 20 in D&D, you pick your subclass and you don't switch out of it. They came out with some options to do that, but it wasn't the same because you weren't able to access a variety of abilities beyond stuff that would just be present under that class. So since we have the grouping class then subclass, this is where you add that extra little flair. The grouping, your class, and your subclass will each be providing you with level 1 abilities, as well as your ability die system. So there will be several things that you have the access to that have different resource costs. This means that you have flexibility and variety from level 1 all the way to the max level in our system. And that's something that's been seriously missing from a lot of systems out there. So with the way we've set up the grouping the class and subclass, if you want multiple types of different skills and abilities like you would get from multi-classing in most traditionally designed games, then you're going to want a multi-subclass. Our system is entirely built for you to customize and finalize your perfect vision of a character with your subclasses and multi-subclassing. Even if that is doubling down and forgoing your subclass just to have extra options added into your main class. Each stage from grouping the subclass is refining that playstyle even further down. And that even will go into your weapon selection when we discuss how we've actually diversified different weapons. If you want to keep track of everything, you know what the whole deal is. If you would like to be more involved or ask questions, feel free. I'm across all 7 of our platforms daily. I will be checking in on all this, and any questions that anyone has, we'll get to them as soon as possible.